Hello students, let's learn science subject standard 9 chapter 6. Chapter name is tissues. In unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all the basic functions. For example, amoeba, a single cell, carries out movement, intake of food and respiratory gases, respiration and excretion. You know, amoeba is a unicellular organism which does all the functions like breathing, digesting food, doing excreta, respiration. All such activities are done by amoeba. But in multicellular organisms, there are millions of cells. Most of these cells are specialized to carry out a few functions. Right? In multicellular organisms like human beings, plants, animals, many functions are there to be performed. So there are particular cells to perform those functions. Right? Each specialized function is taken up by a different group of cells. Since these cells carry out only a particular function, they do not do it very efficiently. Since they are assigned only one type of function, they will carry it very efficiently. In human beings, muscle cells contract and relax to cause movement. What are the functions done by the muscle cells? They contract and relax, which causes movement. Nerve cells carry messages from the brain to the different parts of the body. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones and waste material and so on. Right? These are few examples which are being described over here. In plants, vascular tissue conduct food and water from one part of the plant to the other parts. So multicellular organisms show division of labor. Cells specializing in one function are often grouped together in the body. This means that a particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in a body. Many cells perform that function and which is placed in a definite location in a body. This cluster of cells is called a tissue. Tissue is made up of cells. Is arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of the function. Blood, phloem and muscle are all examples of tissues. A group of cells that are similar in structure and work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. Tissue is made up of a group of cells that are similar in structure and work together. Right? That is the definition. Now let's understand whether plants and animals are made of same type of tissue or different type of tissue. Animal cells and plant cells are made of different types of tissues. There are noticeable differences between the two. Plants are stationary, that means they can't move, and most of the tissues they have are supportive, which provides them the structural strength and rigidity. Most of these tissues are dead, since dead cells can provide mechanical strength as easily as live ones and need less maintenance. On the other hand, animals move from one place to another in search of food, mates and shelter. They consume more energy as compared to plants. Most of the tissues they contain are living. In plants, most of the tissues are dead, and whereas in animals it is the opposite. Another difference between animals and plants is in the pattern of growth. The growth in plants is limited to certain regions. Plants grow only in certain areas, not everywhere, while this is not so in animals. There are some tissues in plants that divide throughout their life. They keep on dividing. These tissues are located in certain regions. Based on the dividing capacity of the tissues, various plant tissues can be classified as growing or meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Cell growth in animals is more uniform, so there is no such demarcation of dividing and non-dividing regions in animals. You can divide that into dividing and non-dividing regions, right? It is more or less uniform. मतलब सब जगह पे एक ही तरह का होता है. The structural organization of organs and organ systems is far more specialized and localized in complex animals than even in very complex plants. जो एनिमल्स है उसका जो स्ट्रक्चर है वो काफी कॉम्प्लेक्स है कंपेयरिंग प्लांट्स. दिस फंडामेंटल डिफरेंस रिफ्लेक्ट्स द डिफरेंट मोड्स ऑफ लाइफ परस्यूड बाय दीज टू मेजर ग्रुप्स of organisms, particularly in their different feeding methods. Also, they are differently adapted for a sedentary existence on one hand and active locomotion on the other hand. Yes, you know that plants are stationary, they are fixed, they can't move. So, it is called a sedentary existence. And whereas animals move from one place to another, right? Contributing to this difference in organ system design. It is with reference to these complex animal and plant bodies that we will now talk about the concept of tissues in some detail. Now we'll learn tissues in detail. First we will learn with plant tissue. Right? Plant tissue is made up of meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Plant tissue is made up of meristematic tissue and permanent tissue, right? So first we will see about meristematic tissue. The growth of plants occurs only in certain specific regions. This is because the dividing tissue known as meristematic tissue is located only at these points. The tissue is present only in certain points, only there the growth of plant occurs. Depending on the region where they are present, meristematic tissues are classified as apical, lateral or intercalary. Right, they are divided into three: apical, intercalary and lateral. New cells produced by meristem are initially like those of meristem itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristics slowly change and they become differentiated as components of other tissues. Right? When they are young ones, then they are behaving like meristem, and when they grow, their characteristics will change. Now let's learn about apical meristem. Apical meristem is present at the growing tips of stems and roots. See, this is the tip of the root in this figure, right? So apical meristem is present over here, tips of the stem and tip of the roots. Here roots are available and the tip of that apical meristem is present. What does it do? It increases the length of the stem and root. Right? The girth of the stem or root increases due to lateral meristem. Lateral meristem जो पेड़ की मोटाई है वो कैसे बढ़ता है? ड्यू टू लेटरल मेरिस्टम टिश्यू. उसको कैम्बियम भी बोला जाता है ना. Intercalary meristem is the meristem at the base of the leaves or internodes. Right? Internodes मतलब बीच बीच में ये जो होती है ना जैसा ये शुगर केन देखा होगा आपने, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह बीच में से एक लाइन होती है, ठीक है। देखिए ये फिगर में है ना, ये शुगर केन है, उसमें एक लाइन होती है ऊपर, एक लाइन नीचे होती है, ठीक है। उधर से जो ग्रोथ होता है वो कौन करता है? इट इज ड्यू टू द इंटरकैलरी मेरिस्टम, राइट। Intercalary meristem is the meristem at the base of the leaves or internodes on either side of the node on twigs. Twigs means branches. As the cells of this tissue are very active, they have dense cytoplasm, thin cellulose walls, and prominent nuclei. They lack vacuolus. Can we think why they would lack vacuolus? Since they are dead, they will not contain vacuoles. Now let's learn about permanent tissue. What happens to the cells formed by the meristematic tissue? They take up a specific role and lose the ability to divide. They will not divide. The process of division will stop. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size, and a function is called differentiation. Cells of meristematic tissue differentiate to form different types of permanent tissue. Permanent tissue is of two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Let's learn about the first one, simple permanent tissue. A few layers of cell form the basic packing tissue. This tissue is parenchyma, a type of permanent tissue. It consists of relatively unspecialized cells with thin cell walls. They are live cells. They are usually loosely packed. Yes? How are they? They are loosely packed and they have thin cell walls. And simple permanent tissue is of two types: protective tissue and supporting tissue, right? They are usually loosely packed so that large spaces between the cells are found in this tissue. This tissue provides support to the plants and store food. In some situations, it contains chlorophyll and performs photosynthesis. And then it is called chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, large cavities are present in parenchyma to give buoyancy to plants to help them float. What helps the plants to float? Large cavities which are present in the parenchyma help the plant to float. Such a parenchyma type is called arenchyma. The parenchyma of stems and roots also stores nutrients and water. The function of parenchyma is to store nutrients and water. Where does it store? It stores in the stems and roots of which type of plants? Of aquatic plants. The flexibility in plants is due to another permanent tissue. It is called collenchyma. It allows easy bending in various parts of a plant. It includes leaf and stem, okay, without breaking, right? You know, when there is lot of wind blowing, the plant will bend, but it will not break. It doesn't break because of presence of collenchyma tissue. It also provides mechanical support to the plants to help it stand erect. We can find this tissue in leaf stacks below the epidermis. Where it is found? Below the epidermis. The cells of this type of tissue are living, elongated, and irregularly thickened at the corners. Their shape is described over here. there is very little intercellular space. The space between the cells is very small, very less, sorry. Okay. Yet another type of permanent tissue is sclerenchyma. It is the tissue which makes the plant hard and stiff. What makes the plant hard and stiff? The sclerenchyma tissue. We have seen the husk of a coconut. Coconut का जो बाहर का कवरिंग है उसको husk बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में. It is made of sclerenchymatous tissue. The cell of these tissues are dead. मरा हुआ tissues होता है, right? मतलब क्या है? They can't grow. They are long and narrow as the walls are thickened due to lignin, a chemical substance which acts as a cement and hardens them. You know that chemical cement, if you put water, it will get hard. Often these walls are so thick that there is no internal space inside the cells. The cells have zero space in between them. This tissue is present in stems around vascular bundles, in the veins of leaves and in the hard covering of seeds and nuts. Right? Seed का जो बाहर का covering होता है ना, वो उसमें present होता है. And in the veins of leaves. Leaf के अंदर अपने ऐसा उंगली में जैसा अपने हाथ में होता है, ठीक है? ऐसे veins होते हैं, नस दिखती है, वैसे leaf में दिखता है, right? So it is present there. It provides strength to the plant parts. What you observe is the outermost layer of cells called epidermis. The epidermis is usually made of a single layer of cells. In some plants living in very dry habitats means very dry atmosphere is there, the epidermis may be thicker since protection against water loss is crucial. Right? You know that in desert areas, the plant should protect itself from water loss. So, the epidermis is present in the outermost layer and it is called epidermis of the plants. The entire surface of plant has this outer covering of epidermis. It protects all the parts of the plant. Epidermal cells on the aerial parts of the plant often secrete a waxy water-resistant layer on the outer surface. This aids in protection against loss of water, mechanical injury and invasion by parasitic fungi. Since it has a protective role to play, cells of epidermal tissue form a continuous layer without intercellular spaces. Right? If there are no spaces, then only it will be strong. Yes, it can resist it resists against any mechanical injury and invasion by parasitic fungi. मतलब कोई इंसेक्ट्स आके उसके ऊपर हमला ना कर दे, इसके लिए वो सख्त होता है. Most epidermal cells are relatively flat. उनका शेप कैसा होता है? चपटा होता है. Often their outer and side walls are thicker than the inner walls. बाहर का सतह उसका सख्त होगा तभी वो प्रोटेक्शन दे पाएगा, right? We can observe small pores here and there in the epidermis of the leaf. These pores are called stomata. Stomata are enclosed by two kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. Right? The pores are called stomata and they are covered by two kidney-shaped cells and they are named as guard cells. They are necessary for exchanging gases within the atmosphere. Transpiration. What is transpiration? Loss of water in the form of water vapor. From the plant leaf also, water is lost through transpiration also takes place through stomata. What is the function of the stomata? It exchanges gases, right? It takes in carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen. Okay? Epidermal cells of the roots, whose function is water absorption, commonly bear hair-like parts that greatly increase the total absorptive surface area. What is the function of the roots? Epidermal cells are present. Their shape is hair-like, right? And due to that large surface area, they can absorb more water. In some plants, like desert plants, epidermis has a thick wax coating of cutin. What is cutin? A chemical substance with waterproof quality on its outer surface. Why? So that it can prevent any damage. So there is a coating on it. As plants grow older, the outer protective tissue undergoes certain changes. A strip of secondary meristem replaces the epidermis of the stem. The epidermis is replaced by secondary meristem. Cells on the outside are cut off from this layer. This forms the several layer thick cork or the bark of the tree. The cells will not be able to divide further, and then they will form the thick cork or the bark of the tree. Cells of cork are dead and compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. They have negligible space. They also have a chemical called suberin in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water. The bark, you know, it is very rigid, hard, so that will not allow any gases to escape or neither any gases to come inside. So it is called impervious, right? Now let's learn about complex permanent tissue. The different types of tissues we discussed up till now are made of only one type of cells which look like each other. Such tissues are called simple permanent tissues. Now there are another type of tissues which are complex tissues, are made of more than one type of cells. All these cells coordinate to perform a common function. Xylem and phloem are examples of such complex tissues, right? They are not simple. They are made of more than one cells. They are both conducting tissues and constitute a vascular bundle. Vascular or conductive tissue is a distinctive feature of the complex plant, one that has made possible for their survival in the terrestrial environment. Because of this vascular tissue, the survival of the plants is possible. Showing a section of stem, can you see different types of cells in the vascular bundle? You can see this figure in which you can see the diagram of this stem of a plant, right? You can see this is hypodermis, this is called cortex, endodermis, all various types of cells are visible. Now xylem consists of tracheids vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. The cells have thick walls and many of them are dead cells. Most of the cells are dead. Tracheids and vessels are tubular structures. How is the shape? It is like tube. जे अपना straw होता है ना, उसके जैसा hollow tube होता है. This allows them to transport water and minerals vertically, right? It will transport water and minerals which is required for the growth. The parenchyma stores food and helps in the sideways कंडक्शन ऑफ वाटर। साइडवेज मतलब ऐसे उसका पानी का बहाव होता है ड्यू टू द प्रेजेंस ऑफ ट्रैकिड्स। द पैरेन्काइमा स्टोर्स फूड्स, बराबर, इट स्टोर्स फूड भी स्टोर करता है वो, और पानी भी एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पहुंचाता है। फाइबर्स आर मेनली सपोर्टिव इन फंक्शन। Phloem is made up of 4 types of elements: sieve tube, companion cells, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma। 4 टाइप से बना है वो, राइट। sieve tubes are tubular cells with perforated walls, जो होल्स होते हैं उसके जो वॉल्स है ना उसमें, ठीक है। Phloem is unlike xylem in that materials can move in both directions, ठीक है, दोनों तरफ से मटेरियल मूव हो सकता है, सिर्फ एक ही तरह से नहीं होगा, राइट। Phloem ट्रांसपोर्ट्स फूड फ्रॉम लीव्स टू अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द प्लांट, ठीक है, उसका काम क्या है, सिंस इट इज हॉलो, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह फूड ट्रांसपोर्ट करता है। एक्सेप्ट फॉर phloem फाइबर्स, phloem cells are living cells, they are also called living cells।